Look, it's that time of the year where every NBA player is either hyped up or bashed, depending on what team you root for. Yes, the NBA offseason has started, and we're going to go ahead and grade every major move by a lot of teams so far in the offseason this year. If you guys enjoy the content, leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and of course, tell your friends about DJ Steve-O. Let's get right into the grades. So unless you've been living under a rock, you definitely heard about the Westbrook trade that sent Russell Westbrook to the Lakers last week. And you probably saw NBA Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media you use, everybody was tweaking out on the Lakers' newest pickup. I didn't put out a video on this trade because, it was obvious the Lakers were going to make more moves. Like, this wasn't going to be the only acquisition the Lakers made this offseason. Y'all never heard of Let GM? But the Lakers have made a plethora of moves that have made them the best team in the Western Conference. Adding Westbrook is a great pickup and a major upgrade at point guard. Y'all check on Dennis Schroeder for me.
Please! No!
If there was one thing Westbrook will do, is get triple doubles. And the Lakers need a high energy workforce to run the team whenever LeBron and Anthony Davis need rest. We saw what happened last season. The Lakers, when LeBron and AD missed games, were not the same team. And with LeBron entering his 19th season and AD known to be injury prone, you have to bring in a quality player that can be productive on the offensive end. Yes, I know, Westbrook is not the best shooter. We get that. You're literally not saying anything new. But with what Westbrook lacks in shooting, the Lakers went into the offseason and picked up knockdown shooters in Kent Bazemore, Wayne Ellington, and they still in J.R. Smith. That's not J.R.? Wait, Malik Monk? Oh, shit. Malik Monk. All guys who shot over 40% from three last year. Then you bring in Kendrick Nunn, who is a very solid backup point guard and efficient. Dwight Howard is back, who has the chemistry of working with AD and Bron, winning a ring together back in 2020. Taylor Horn-Tucker is back. Kind of overpaid, not gonna lie. Trevor Ariza, kind of washed, won't lie, but a solid vet nonetheless. And you somehow bring in Carmelo to make the LaMelo wishes finally come true. I like the moves the Lakers have made so far. I will say defensively this team isn't as great as it once was, losing guys like KCP and Caruso, and it'll have to be tight on that end of the ball. The Lakers were known for getting stops when it mattered most because they had the personnel to do so. This year will be a little bit different because now they have multiple offensive options and less known solid defenders. But the Lakers still have Dennis Schroeder, and who they can sign and trade to any team and could add another piece to their team for a championship run. All in all, I like what the Lakers have done. I'll give you guys an A-. Next up, we got Chicago. Now look, you guys already have the best shooting guard in your franchise history in Zach LaVine. And last season, he had a career year in almost every statistical category, putting up 27 points per game on 50, 40, 85 splits. And then you added Nikola Vucevic last season during the trade deadline, who is already one of the better offensive big men in the league right now. Now you go into this free agency and you get Lonzo Ball, which was a perfect pickup. Lonzo has had to prove to everyone that he is a quality point guard in this league, and he's been only getting better every single year that he's been in the league. Salute to Lonzo for real. It's been a rocky road, but he's earned every single dollar in his contract, and his playmaking ability, defensive ability, and his ability to play off ball and knock down open jumpers will provide much help for the Bulls' backcourt. But the biggest news for the Bulls so far is them inking in DeMar DeRozan into a 3-year, $85 million deal. So look, I like DeMar. I think he's one of the few guys in the league that's game may not be super exciting, but he's still an exceptional player. But I don't know how to feel about this. Outside shooting is a must in the NBA today, and over the past 3 seasons, DeMar DeRozan hasn't shot over 30% from 3 once. In addition, DeMar on the Spurs was a quality playmaker for his tenure there, and he put up over 21 points per game in his 3 seasons in San Antonio. But analytically speaking, those teams played better with DeMar off the court compared to DeMar on the court. And lastly, the Bulls had to give up a first-round pick to get DeMar DeRozan, and they already gave up 2 first-round picks to acquire Vucevic from Orlando. However, the upside that I see from their move so far is that 1, you made both Lonzo and DeRozan deals without having to give up Kobe White, Patrick Williams, or Lauri Markkanen, who could end up being dealt for another quality asset. 2, you added in another solid defender in Alex Caruso, who didn't shoot the ball great in the playoffs last season, but for his career is an above-average 3-point shooter. And 3, back to DeRozan. DeRozan isn't a scrub. He averaged 22, 6, and 5 on 49% shooting from the field last season and can play the wing, his original position, or the 4, a position he's been playing for the Spurs recently, which adds versatility if necessary. I think DeRozan with the right scheme can be utilized in a way that will make him effective, and looking at what the Bulls have acquired and who they're able to keep defensively and offensively, they got much better. And I must say, they had a very good free agency. I'll give them an A. Next up, the Sixers. No cap, like for real, I'm not even gonna hold you guys and waste your time. When I saw this tweet, followed by this tweet, I already knew the Sixers weren't gonna pass my class.
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the
I am dead inside.
Like Drummond? Yeah, you need a backup center, but that's not what I thought the Sixers' main focus would be. I'll be fair, if the Sixers somehow get something adequate in a Ben Simmons trade, if they trade him, then my grade may change. Or maybe next year Ben Simmons turns into a knockdown sniper. Cap. They could just keep their whole roster intact and make another shot at the championship, but we'll see. But until anything drastic changes, Philly gets a C, especially because every other team in the Eastern Conference is getting better. Which leads me into my next team, the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat are interesting because I think this team got better, but at the same time, I don't think they're a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference. Picking up Kyle Lowry on a 3-year, $90 million deal is a great addition. Lowry fits the mold of what Miami loves: defending, playing physical, and high IQ caliber players, and Lowry, an NBA champion, checks all of those boxes. Plus, it's an upgrade from their former point guard Goran Dragic. A Kyle Lowry and Bam Adebayo pick and roll can be very lethal, and Lowry takes some playmaking responsibilities off his former Team USA teammate Jimmy Butler. Another key addition is the Heat re-signing Duncan Robinson on a 5-year, $90 million deal. Duncan has been one of the best 3-point marksmen in the NBA over the past 2 seasons, and keeping a reliable shooter is immensely important in today's game. Then you add in solid role players in PJ Tucker, who just won a championship and hustles on every play. Victor Oladipo's back, and when healthy, can be a problem for defenses to stop from getting to the basket. He averaged 21 points per game in 20 games with the Rockets, and he can be a quality player off the bench for the Heat alongside Tyler Hero, who you were able to keep as well, and who people love to make jokes about, me included, but also improved in his second season in the league last year. And I can't forget the biggest story: you locked in your best player in Jimmy Butler by agreeing to a 4-year max deal. I think what the Heat have done so far is great. I will say my only worries is that this team still doesn't have a perennial elite offensive scorer, a player like Bradley Beal, Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, etc. The Heat will play hard, but when it comes down to a close game, they'll need a closer to take on that heavy task. Can Jimmy Butler be that guy? We've seen him go crazy before, so I'm not saying he can't do it, and I think that with the max contract money he's just earned, he'll have to take on a much heavier scoring load than before, as well as Bam Adebayo. I think so far in the 2021 offseason, the Heat have done a pretty good job. I'll give them a B+. The Blazers are next up. Let's take a live look at the front office war room. So again, the Blazers picked up Cody Zeller, and honestly, this is a great...
Hey, hold on, this shit ain't funny. It ain't funny, but it is.
Hey, Dame, get out of Portland ASAP, bro. Whoever's running Portland's front office, whoever the GM is, you need to be fired immediately, bro. Look, the Blazers need drastic changes, and this isn't moving the needle. Yeah, they re-signed Norman Powell on a 5-year deal. Solid player, but the Blazers haven't done anything to either set themselves up for the future to contend or bring in suitable talent around Dame to compete right now if you're not trading him. The Blazers need to make drastic changes, and they're just sitting still. The Blazers get an F until further notice. Next up, I'm going to speak through a few teams that I feel haven't done anything drastic, but didn't take a major L during the offseason. Let's start with the Celtics. The Celtics added Al Horford, Josh Richardson, Chris Dunn, and Enes Kanter this offseason, and honestly, solid pickups, but they're still lacking at the point guard position. Hopefully they get that situated before the start of the season because Kemba Walker is gone, and if you watch my previous videos, you know how much I've stressed that they need to go after a playmaking point guard. I have no clue why they didn't go after Lonzo Ball. The C's get a B-. The Nets still have KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. Do they really need a grade? Yeah, come on, bro. But seriously, the Nets did just add Patty Mills, who just dropped 42 points in a bronze medal match in the Olympics, re-signed Blake and Bruce Bowen, who are solid role players, and drafted a good group of young guys, including a first-rounder in Cameron Thomas, who has good promise. The Nets still are to be feared. The Nets get a B. The Suns re-signed Cp3, which was big, and personally, I think we all know that the Suns had to bring him back to really have a shot at making another run at the championship. And from this previous season, Cp3 had one of his most efficient years, and many thought he had a solid shot at winning MVP. Not me though. But personally, 4 years, $120 million is a lot to give a 36-year-old point guard, especially when I think about Cp3's health that will come into question. But you still have the ability to re-sign your young core and maintain a little cap flexibility. And you brought back Cameron Payne and added in swingman shooter Landry Shamet. The Suns get a B. On to the T-Wolves. The Minnesota Timberwolves deadass didn't even show up to the offseason. Like, no, seriously, they're absent. They get an F. I rock with Anthony Edwards though. Lastly, the New York Knicks. Look, the Knicks, and I won't lie, I'm slowly falling in love with what the Mecca is doing. Although this past postseason could be labeled as a disappointment, the moves that have been made so far have filled a lot of holes. The Knicks re-signed Alec Burks, Nerlens Noel, and D Rose, all vets that played pretty well last season. The young core of RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, and Obi Toppin is still intact, and defensively, you have Mitchell Robinson coming back from injury to add to this defensive unit that was already #1 ranked last season. And you extended Julius Randle for the next 4 years, locking in your best player and first-time All-Star last year. Now, the issue was that the Knicks needed more offensive talent to help and reduce that offensive load on Julius Randle, and they went out and got Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker, a New York native. Evan Fournier is a solid offensive threat to add to this unit, who is a reliable three-point shooter and not a bad defender as well, shooting over 40% from 3 over the past 3 years on nearly 19 points per game. Getting him for 4 years, $78 million may be an overpay, but in the NBA market that caters to outside scoring threats, I think the Knicks had to make this deal. Adding in Kemba is another huge pickup. Kemba is another 20-point per game scorer, and he can be a shot creator and also a playmaker at times for the Knicks when need be. Kemba hasn't always been the most efficient, and injuries have plagued him as of recently, but if Kemba can stay healthy, the Knicks will win a lot of games. I expect the Knicks, led by Julius Randle, to have a much better season since the Knicks maintained their defensive presence and improved on the offensive end of the ball this offseason. New York, you guys get an A. This wraps up my grades for the offseason moves made so far. If you didn't see a team in the video, let me know in the comment section who I missed out on, and let me know your offseason grades on all the moves that have been made so far. Some teams you didn't see may be in a future video, so make sure you stay tuned by clicking that post notification bell and subscribing to the channel. Until next time, stay on beat.